Returning to my Coin Lady channel, I am pleased to see you again. The world's monetary system was reset. This has been a heavily discussed topic in the finance industry for a long time, starting in 2008 and continuing up until the present day. Recent events have only served to heighten the intensity of the conversation, and I fear that a complete reset is our only option. I will be covering all of this and more in this video. So, as I mentioned before, when we consider a global monetary system reset, our thoughts go back to 2008. Many people, myself included, believe that since then, we have only inflated the money supply and supported the market, but nothing has changed. The question now is, what's the next step, as we examine this situation? Looking back at more recent events, we can see how the pandemic sped up talks about the reset and how our economy has been plagued by financial instability and bank failures. There is a far bigger issue that all of this points to. Many are now speculating that rate cuts are imminent from the Federal Reserve. This is completely illogical. The fact that nobody seems to want to talk about the obvious, namely, whether or not we have recovered, is a major issue. Has the economy strengthened? What is the true situation? First, let's take a look at the history of reserve currencies. This will shed light on the topic starting in 1450. It's absurd to consider the US dollar as an example. It has been the reserve currency since 1921, which is approaching a century and a half. On average, reserve currencies around the world last around 94 years. Now I've framed the argument in terms of a digital financial system's reserve currency. After all, the recent drive for CBDCs, digital assets, stable coins, and crypto itself begs the question. It would appear that we are heading in the direction of a digital-based financial system, which the elites appear to desire. Therefore, in a digital system, is a reserve currency truly necessary? The correct response is no, as we do not. Having a stable value asset on hand to settle cross-border transactions that take a week or more is the primary goal of a reserve currency. Keeping its value constant is the principal purpose of a reserve currency. A reserve currency will be unnecessary once rapid settlement is implemented. This is something I've always brought up. What will support these emerging digital currencies? If we do away with the necessity for a reserve currency? This is a question that everyone is asking. Okay, I'm looking at gold too, along with everyone else. In fact, I think that new digital currencies, or CBDCs, will be backed by gold. However, the focus is squarely on gold. The real money is in the tokenization platforms and digital currencies that will settle things, not in the underlying technology that is making this a reality. That's where the real money is. If we take a closer look, we can see something completely new. Presented here by BNX Central Banks Purchasing Gold, Joe Foster's take. Looking at a comment from him in this video makes me think, I know, it's a cliché, that we need a crisis. It is already a crisis. There is a debt crisis, that is true. If the market were to get concerned about the future of the economy, the debt crisis, or an escalation in geopolitical tensions, I believe it would cause people to become quite nervous and lead them to seek refuge in gold. A lot of folks are already jumping on the gold bandwagon, you know. Gold is being purchased by them. The de-dollarization effort, which the BRICS are facilitating, is to blame for this. Additionally, we are aware that the world economy as a whole is not yet stable. No matter where we look, instability persists. Debt levels are also rising rapidly. The issue of inflation persists. People are still holding on to gold when we fully consider the situation. They're still looking for a valuable asset that can either maintain its worth or increase in value so they can fight inflation. They intend to counteract the present economic uncertainty. At the same time as central banks are accumulating vast quantities of gold, they are simultaneously preparing to introduce digital currencies. By 2030, 24 national banks will have their own digital currency. This was in July of 2023, and the figure has since increased substantially. As of June 14 this year, 94% of central banks are investigating digital currencies. That's rather shocking. Central banks are focusing on CBDCs and the BIS at the same time as they are hoarding huge quantities of gold, and nobody is asking why. Their simultaneous exploration of digital currencies and their accumulation of gold begs the question, why? Here's the new monetary system we've laid out in detail. CBDCs issued on private ledger technology, supported by fractionalized, tokenized gold reserves. A gold-backed digital system, in which gold is the central factor determining the value of everything we observe on a daily basis, would look just like this. Is it likely that they will reassess the value of gold then? No doubt about it, that's totally doable. That must be our constant consideration. While exploring particular crypto assets with real worth and potential settlement currencies around this emerging digital financial system, I believe everyone should have some physical gold and silver on hand. Keep in mind that in November of 2023, the International Monetary Fund, IMF, stated, "This is Kristalina Georgieva speaking, that digital currencies issued by central banks could eventually supersede cash. We must not turn back now." Yes, this is straight from the International Monetary Fund. We still haven't touched down on land, but we have a quote. There is a great deal of unpredictability regarding use cases, and a great deal of room for innovation. At the 2023 Singapore FinTech Festival, here is the head honcho of the International Monetary Fund. Only 11 nations have implemented CDCs as of the release of this study in June 2023. With 94% of central banks investigating CBDCs and the BIS keeping up its momentum, it's clear that these institutions are becoming major players. I get the impression that, indeed, they are not attempting to go back. They are actively working to speed this up. In addition to the continuing battle, there are also geopolitical issues between, as I mentioned before, the BRICS and the US. I mean, a lot of the little things we witness every day are building up to this massive catastrophe that will reset everything. The next stage of digital money development is here, at the central bank. Pay close attention to the dates once more. Once again, this is from the International Monetary Fund, and the date is November 15, 2023. When it comes to digital forms of central bank money, many monetary authorities around the globe are looking for greater direction. Beyond that, the BIS is pushing the Finternet, the future financial system, as we approach 2024. It is currently approximately April 15th, and this is the central bank of central banks, once again. On May 6th, we received this. Technical advancement, technical innovation, baby steps, and enormous leaps, they laid out everything we need to make this a reality. We must take bold steps forward. We must take a giant leap ahead. They did bring up COVID-19. They also brought up the fact that it sped up the digital push, something we've covered extensively on this channel. However, this enormous jump is being discussed down here, isn't it? Particularly in the context of tokenization, they are providing an illustration of this quantum jump. However, I don't think this constitutes a great jump, and that's the main issue. It seems like they're covering a lot of ground, covering everything from the technology to the origins of this tokenized digital society, but I don't think we're getting a whole picture of what they're talking about. The circumstances that must transpire to propel and quicken our transition to this new monetary system are, however, something they are withholding from us. The viewer's presence here is greatly appreciated. Thank you for watching my channel and for subscribing. I will see you later.